Morning all. Alright, starting things off with the news of the day video for your Thursday, September the 14th. We're getting closer and closer to training camp. And as we get set for training camp, the Columbus story does actually continue. So this is the Babcock photos story. The NHLPA sending Executive Director Marty Walsh as well as Assistant Executive Director Ron Hainsey to Columbus in order to talk to players on the team. My guess is that, the players are all like, yeah, no, everything's fine, but the union would want to talk to them privately, separately, one-on-one. Because that's the question mark, right? Is whether or not there might be some players who maybe they were kind of ticked off or upset about whatever was going on there and just didn't want to publicly rock the boat. So the union just doing what it has to do here in order to, fully investigate. Probably nothing coming out of this, but we'll see. Columbus in the news yet again. So it is PTO season, and the latest professional tryout is Nick Ritchie signs with St. Louis. On a tryout, Nick Ritchie's one of those players. It's kind of a bit of a surprise it takes a PTO for him. Solid fourth line option, but again, we'll see what happens with him with the Blues and whether or not they keep him around. So we'll see how many of these guys that get these tryouts actually end up in the AHL or signing AHL contracts or go overseas. But my guess is that 10 days from now, we'll be talking about a lot of PTOs coming to an end. But we'll see if Ritchie's comes to an end or if he wins himself a job. So it is never too early to talk about the 2024 draft. Macklin Celebrini is the favorite. Bob McKenzie saying of the 10 NHL scouts he talked to, 9 of them have Macklin Celebrini as number 1 on their draft list for next summer. He is not seen as a generational talent. He's not seen as franchise-altering the way that Bedard was going into this past draft, but he's seen as an excellent option as well. And it's seen as a pretty solid draft class overall. Again, we'll see as the year goes along how deep that draft class is, but Celebrini right now is number 1 on the list. So Colorado, the reason why I'm wearing the Abs jersey, there's a chance. It doesn't sound like it's a great chance, but for GM McFarland, it's important to hold out hope. And he's holding out hope that Gabriel Landeskog will be back in time for the playoffs. So Landeskog is progressing well at this point with his injury. It's 4 months out. But again, the expectation is he won't play during the regular season at all. So if he comes back and if he plays in time for the playoffs, cue the theories. One thing to keep in mind is Mark Stone came off IR going into the playoffs for Vegas this past year. They won the Cup. Kucherov, of course, famously or infamously comes off the IR. They end up winning the Stanley Cup. Does Landeskog come off the IR next spring? And then we see Colorado win the Stanley Cup. So we'll see what happens, but I just figured I'd throw that out there. Why not add some chaos to your Thursday? But yeah, all the best to Landeskog in his recovery. He, of course, missed all of last season. So I don't think we'll hear nearly as many theories of how the Avs are gaming the system if that were to come to pass, but we shall see. Pierre Dorion, in a bit of a bind when it comes to Shane Pinto. Because if you're going to give Pinto the market value that he has, you're going to be over the cap. You're going to be over the cap by probably $1.5 million, $2 million. So they're trying to get, and they hope to get Pinto signed before camp next week. There have been rumors out there that he's on the trade market. There's been rumors of what teams are in on him, but honestly, at this point in time, it does sound like that market's kind of quieted down. It can change, obviously, in a matter of hours, but they want to get Pinto signed. He's ideally their third liner. And as a third line center, I think he's a pretty solid option with some second line upside. And so we'll see what happens there. David Reinbacher, first round draft pick by the Montreal Canadiens this past June, stating that he's added 15 pounds in 2 months. And if you're saying, hey, I can do that on my couch, I mean muscle. So it's 15 pounds of muscle. I could add 15 pounds in 2 months. It's easy. 2 weeks, sure. Wouldn't be healthy, but it's easy. But yeah, Reinbacher saying he's added some weight. And of course, with young defensemen, it's important that they have that strength and that size once you're going up against NHL level competition. So that bodes well for Reinbacher. And it's going to be interesting to see how Montreal's blue line turns out this year. A lot of good young options for them on the blue line. And it'll be quite the job that Kent Hughes has to get that roster ready and decide who does or doesn't make it onto that blue line for the season. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happen upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.